Welcome back to the office, and welcome back to the comfort of the Father's house. My name is Ebube, and you are listening to Popcorn for Dinner. This week on Severance, Dylan gets some very, very difficult news. The Scout siblings team up with one of their ops to challenge an empire, and our favorite redhead has some quality time with her father. There's a lot going on in this episode, and it's not the kind of thing you want to parse on your own. So I have Chinedu and AJ with me once again, and we have quite a lot to discuss. And I guess Bert has places to be. So where should we start, guys? How are we doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm really relating to Dylan today.
That's not good. Then how are you good?
Yeah.
Hey, yo, what?
That's a good point, actually. I'm good outside capitalism factors. You know, everything else is good. But
I have a feeling capitalism is not Dylan's biggest problem today. But but no problem. You know what? Let's start with him.
No, it's a big factor.
Let's actually just start with him, because I guess first things first, who is at fault here? Like, who do we blame?
In what situation are we talking about? Are we talking about Gretchen, or are we talking about?
We're talking about Gretchen. So any Dylan, the whole throuple situation, as I guess is what Milch would call it. Is it any Dylan's fault that this has gone down the way it has? Is it Audi Dylan's fault, or is it Gretchen's fault?
I think the one person.
Ever the romantic.
If wrong, the answer is Lumen. I'm sorry. Yeah. If ever.
Fair enough.
He did.
Fair enough. I will say, any Dylan is definitely delusional.
Yes.
His paper ring is cute, but he's delusional. But is Audi Dylan justified? He's saying he told Gretchen that that she's going to cheat on him with his own body.
Yeah.
Is that can he really say that? Like, because I know there are some people who would say that, it is still the same person. She's not cheating on you, you're still her husband. But does that mean he as well sees the Inni as different from him?
Well, yeah, I think that's always been the crux of the show, no? I'll come back to your initial question of who's to blame, but love is not the kind of thing that is merely physical. It's formed on bonds, and for someone to tell you they're forming an emotional bond with another consciousness, let's not forget it's his own it's his own body, but it's a different consciousness. He has no awareness of what's going on. So you can't blame him for feeling a type of way and feeling heartbroken that she's forming a new bond with a different person, because that's affecting the bond he has with her. It's a slightly, well, would I say it's a selfish way to look at love, but it's the way that monogamy is looked at, if that makes sense. It's why there's emotional cheating. Do you get what I mean? Aside, even if she didn't kiss him, the fact that she was forming that relationship with someone else would have obviously bothered him seriously. Someone else being his consciousness, his Inni. Sorry, his body, his Inni.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like Dylan wasn't upset. He wasn't hurt. He was just more, I feel like it was more so like, I feel he was thinking, dang, like, even in my marriage, I'm still not doing a good job. Like, other me does better in terms of relating with my wife than I do. Because he didn't seem like, wow, subs, you're cheating on me, or you have feelings for other me. It was more so like, I'm annoyed. I don't even want to make my smoothie. Like, I need to leave this place.
Yeah, I didn't like him pouring out those ingredients. I don't like waste.
Like, why are we wasting? But anyways,
whatever.
and for who's to blame? And yeah, like, definitely Lumen, but also the fact Dylan G, so the Inni was saying, I could give you a life. And I'm like, my love, you don't
laughing.
even
I can't even lie. I bust out laughing. I can give you a life. My friend, what?
Like, what are you talking? Like,
spoken like a true man.
No, like because how you selling her dreams?
He's so real, man. He's so real. Let him cook, please.
Nah, that
Let
was
him
real.
cook.
That was true desperation because this guy just he's like, yo, let's just throw everything out, see what sticks.
Yeah. And also, even prior to that, he had said like, because she said, "Oh, I told you about us." That whole sentence was already very weird. And then he goes, "Oh, like, was he happy for us?" And I'm like,
Why would he be happy?
why would he
And
be
then he said he
happy?
should be happy
He
because I'm
he
making
should
you happy.
making you happy. I'm like, I love you, but like,
that's some interesting logic.
can you see you're not okay? And he was just like so down and frustrated, and like just even seeing the dynamic, like Dylan G with Gretchen, like he's so soft and like just like lovey-dovey, but Dylan G with everybody else is like this like guy that's never serious, or like I'm the best of the best, I could be an asshole if I want to, but with her he's like so soft and you just want to like hold and cuddle him. So to see him losing that, because he also said like he didn't start living until she started coming to see him, and he just lost her, so he resigned. And I'm just
Yeah, I
like,
should write love songs.
It's a
sucks.
horrible thing for him to have even met Gretchen in the first
In
place.
the first place, yeah.
I think one of the things this show is try to tell us is to like messing with the severance barrier is a problem, and this whole thing started, remember, because Milch used the OTC and
Yeah.
Dylan saw his son. This literally all started from that
Because of Chikai Bardu, yes.
Exactly, because he broke the severance barrier, and since then it's been a terrible domino effect that's led to this.
Which, can I just say, that's just great. Like, isn't it just fantastic when people are writing a show and everything has consequences?
Yeah.
Like, just want to point that out. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. No. I think that's just the main point. That I firmly believe he should never have met her. And in terms of overall whose fault it is, I think I'll absolve him completely because he's an ini that wants to learn more about
His
the
offspring.
world and his offspring and love and etc. And he would never have had that curiosity if he wasn't even shown it in the first place. So
Yeah.
AJ is correct that Lumen Milchik is to blame for this. And then Gretchen as well should never have honored that. I'm sorry, but I guess it's the curiosity of wanting to see what your partner is like in a different form, but you have to nip that in the bud. I'm so sorry.
I feel like also money though, because like I feel like the struggling, I guess, I don't know, I'm guessing, but also like maybe she felt she had to come, and if she didn't show up, then Dylan would lose his job again. So I feel even Dylan, his outsy, also said like, yo, like it wouldn't hurt if you actually go. And she went and she saw, okay, this is the Dylan I desire you to be. This is who I miss. This is who I love. So I will keep on going. I enjoy. And then they kissed, and now everything is, I don't know, the marriage is, it was already very like wonky, to be honest. So
if you start to like him, where does that go? So you start going to visit him every day to like satiate that side of you that wants the Dylan that you want.
It's a slippery slope, and
it's a terrible slippery slope.
Yeah. This was just never going to end well. And it actually may move into a situation where Dylan becomes the first innie whose resignation request is accepted / approved, because his Audi was thinking about quitting, and that's the last thing he said, only for Dylan to hear about this and is like, I don't want to live anymore. And and I'm saying it that way because this is somebody who was trying to prevent Irving from leaving, because that would essentially be the end of his life. But now he's quitting, right? So is he forgetting that this is the end of his life, or is this darker in the sense that he fully knows that quitting means he's never going to come back here, but just because of this situation, because his heart was broken once, he's like, I'm not trying to live anymore. I'm not trying to work anymore. It doesn't matter what happens. And I'm just like, bro, stand up.
Please. One heartbreak. One heartbreak is enough.
One is enough.
One heartbreak is enough.
No,
I'm sure the
you're right.
listeners can tell that Ebube has not been through shit.
It has. But what I'll say is, while it's easy to tell him to stand up, it's actually undeniable the kind of pain he's going through, because he doesn't have anyone as well to lean on, right? Helly is out here talking about, let's go find what like Irving left you. And he's just like, bro, I don't care about that anymore. Like, I don't care about anything. He's like, yo, where's Mark? He's like, I don't care. Like, he's also lost Irving. Like, this man feels like there's nothing left. His whole world has been turned upside down. Like, what's he supposed to go back to now? Pencil erasers, finger traps, other perks, the things that they were using to placate him before. It's too big of a downgrade, and I don't know if he'll be able to experience this type of thing again. I'm actually not sure what will happen to Gretchen as well. If we're going to see more of her and how she reacts to this, because it's one thing for her and Audi Dylan to decide, we're not going to see this guy anymore, don't go there, no more meetings. But it's another thing for him to literally quit and that person no longer exists to her again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, what I would say is, just touching on Dylan as well, is that one thing that I really did feel for him is when you're in that mind state that Dylan is in, he's trapped there. That's why you remember when he said, fuck this place. There's no escape for him. His entire existence is going to be pain. I mean, us as people, the beauty of life is that once we escape our 9 to 5 or whatever, if you're working in corporate, you can always go back to your social life or at least try and switch off. But once Dylan is in that elevator, there's no switching off. All he just remembers is heartbreak. And, it's easier to also process things better when you have outside factors that help your wounds heal quicker. So friends, etc. But he hasn't got a social life. So that wound is going to be manifesting more because, he's in the presence of the cause of all his pain. And it's difficult. You have to feel for him. You just have to feel for him.
Yeah.
On a less serious note, though, top 3 resignations of all time, man ticked every reason on the checklist.
No, because I read that thing. It says select one. He selected all. He specifically said select one. He said anger, annoyance, anxiety,
frustration, boredom.
Like, wow, man, that's
He's
somebody
so real, man. He
needs therapy. He needs therapy, and you know who else needs therapy? Helena. Helena needs therapy.
Oh, before we move past Dylan, talking about Helena, the fact she said, keep your ring, you give it to somebody else. And I'm like, oh God, you need new friends. Like, what?
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
No, but it's like literally, what, like, who is he going to meet again? I mean, to be fair, they don't know all the people who are down there, but that's such a way for her to try to encourage you.
Why would I want to marry a co-worker that we're trapped in the same place?
You can't even marry them. Oh, are they allowed?
But they're definitely not allowed. They're definitely not. Literally, that is the reason Bert was fired. So, so that's not allowed. But I think she's also in her own delusion because she's tried to marry Mark. So she's like, oh, somebody else you meet down here, and it's just like, sis, what kind of life is that exactly? Like, can you imagine, like, you're in love with someone and you only ever see them in the office?
Bro, crazy.
Like, isn't that bondage?
How do you even create exciting experiences from that?
You don't. And every time you try, nosebleeds.
You have a waffle party together.
Okay.
Yeah, all the perks in this show, like the waffle party,
pineapple
the egg bar, which apparently is slightly an Easter egg / callback because Ben Stiller apparently does not really like boiled eggs. But yeah, speaking of eggs and speaking of
so
Helly,
much boiled eggs though.
Man. Yeah, like they love boiled eggs on this show. Like this show really has a thing with eggs. And
goodness.
you know, I'm just thinking about that first scene, right, with Helly. Well, I guess Helena. That was definitely Helena, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, that was definitely Helena. Let's just because that was definitely Helena. I wonder what the swimming was all about.
Yeah.
And I wonder why all of that had to be done before she came up. But it was interesting to see the inside of that house, and the house itself is further interesting because it essentially confirms the story that we've been told about the origins of this place. That's essentially the location of the original Kier Egan house, which has now been either replicated or moved into the Lumen building. And they've essentially built their family like estate on top of that place. Obviously, that makes sense. And I wonder how many people are even aware of that. But that area must be so closely guarded because of it. Like, you probably can't get in or out easily. So, why do you guys think he doesn't eat?
Honestly, no idea.
I don't even think that man is human. Like, he's
I
just
knew you were about to say that.
Cause like she cut the egg and then he's like he
I
sucked or
wish
like
you would take them raw.
and then I'm like, uncle, like why do you want her to take it raw?
My biggest problem with that scene was how Helena was eating eggs, man. What do you mean slice the eggs into 4 and then chop it into tiny bits with your fucking
Are you
knife?
avoiding the yolk too? Look, I'm not trying to judge her too much, but there's something fishy about that.
I'm judging.
And actually, funny enough, I think it's a callback to season 1, where with this whole concept of people coming together for meals but not eating, that's what Rick and his friends were doing. I feel like there has to be some kind of connection there. But I don't know. Like, either way, are we getting to a point where we are going to learn about this man soon, like James Egan? Like, is it even necessary? Does the audience actually even want to know James Egan? Because that's something I thought about as well. Like, is it required for the show's revelations? Does the audience care about him? I feel like the audience is mostly creeped out by him, but
yeah, we haven't seen. I don't think we've seen enough to even want to see more. I think someone obviously last episode, not this one, but someone I wouldn't mind seeing more of a sissy, even though she's so evil. But that's the kind of effect she had with her screen time. But I don't think he has had enough to give us. Could do it less of him, can't lie. It's a bit too creepy.
He's just AJ so creepy. No.
I mean, he's creepy, but apparently, he still makes the rounds because he's a known robber Baratheon in these streets. I wonder if they created that birthing clinic because of him. Because, man, like, for her to get because Cobell got there.
What was that about? Is one of James, by the way?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So this must be a thing where he just gets people pregnant and they come to have the babies here. And the people who work here already know that there's a protocol for when it's one of James. You heard all those code words that they were saying?
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing. They took them to a special section. Like, what on earth is going on? Like, is this a whole thing about them trying to also do more in terms of reproduction? It's making me think about all the babies in the opening sequence. Like,
yeah.
Because, there's a lot about childbirth. There's a lot about fertility in this show, subliminally and even overtly. And I wonder if this has something to do with that. Like, does Helena have, like, tiny little brothers and sisters somewhere? Like, are they trying to kind of...
Oh, she 100% does. If this is the case, she 100% does.
Yeah, I literally had to pause. Like, once she said it's one of James, like, or she's one of James, I literally just had to pause and I was like, wait, hold on. And then Devin too is just there in the car holding her belly like this.
Even like the security didn't even do extra checks. She was just, just another day in the office.
Like, it's a normal thing, like every Tuesday. Like...
And then she went ahead and said all the necessary code words and stuff, so they would take them to the exact place they needed to go. And I'm just like, wow, man. There's a whole system built around this. There's a whole system built around it. And, speaking of Cobell and, Devin, I guess we should also talk about Mark. What do we think their plan is?
I mean, the episode ended there, so I have zero clue.
So why do we think they went there in the first place? Like they went there to
obviously
just so
activate
that Cobell and Innie Mark could have a conversation. But to what end?
Yeah, I know obviously the plan is to have a conversation and probably to find out what's happening in there, or as much as Mark knows, since Cobell has left. But I'm not too sure what the
possibly
what the plan beyond that is, to be honest.
I'll say like maybe like to inform Mark, like he doesn't even know like completing Cold Harbor will kill
Gemma, which
Gemma,
is a big thing.
He doesn't know.
Oh, true. That's true. They probably wanted to find out where he is at with it.
Yeah, just like speak to him. But my question also is like, what's it called? Is it the Betting Cottage? Or that place, yeah, like. My thing is that like, talking about like James and like him possibly impregnating thousands of women, does he get them severed to do that? Is that why like that whole place exists? Like it has to be like a spot outside of the Lumen building where like people can turn on and off their innies and outies, whatever. So it's like thinking about
I'm wondering.
betting.
That's why I was asking if they maybe created that place partly because of this reason, and it just happens to also be a place that serves other people too if they pay. And
then how did Devon, who told her about that place in season 1 that she decided to go there to have her child?
I think Rickon found out about it or something like that. Maybe
Rickon.
I'm not sure exactly how she found out, but I just know they ended up there, and I think it was probably Rickon's idea.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the kind of thing Rickon will come up with. so yeah, speaking of which, we haven't seen that guy in a bit, but yeah.
Is it just me or Devon was a bit, not theorizing by the way, just my gut instinct. She was just a bit weird in this episode.
Yeah, Devon? I feel she's been weird since
Tell me more about this.
Got like reintegrated.
I don't know. When she sorry.
Well, you think she's too friendly towards Cobell? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, she's too willing to get help from Cobell that almost kidnapped your child. I feel like knowing Devon or like what I've come to expect from Devon, it's a bit out of character. Like I feel like she would be the last person to say, okay, yeah, let's call and listen and stick with Cobell because that's our last like resort. I feel like more so, and even for Mark, or maybe he's just at the point where he's like, he doesn't want to work with anyone that's associated with women. But like, I felt like Mark would be more willing to listen to Cobell than Devon would be, because Devon has always been like, okay, I'm going to protect you. Because even the way she was acting with Regabi, she was like, okay, you need to leave, you're not doing anything. But now with Cobell, she's more like, let's listen to her, calm down, you're going to be fine. So it just seems like out of character for Devon, in my opinion. It was a bit weird for me.
I kind of agree, but at the same time, I agree with her in the sense that they don't have many options left.
Yeah.
So what else could they have done? Because for her, it's like she's, or at least the way I see it, is that she's willing to kind of bend a little bit to ensure that Mark survives.
For me, it wasn't even just how friendly she was with Cobell, not friendly, but how willing she was. I think she was just a bit... okay, in the birthing center, for example, when she first spoke to Innie Mark, the way she was assertive was almost, I don't know, and she wasn't exactly creeped out by Cobell. I honestly, I don't know what's going on. But let's see in episode 10. I just wonder. I don't know. I just wonder why she's just a bit. Maybe she's just having more screen time, and we're just learning more about who she is. Yeah, possibly.
And also, like, Mark seemed very, very, like Innie Mark seemed very, very scared when he saw Devon. Like, he was about to run away. So I was like, shouldn't he feel safe because he's met her before? Or is it more so the situation, like, why am I here? What's happening? That
I think it's more so that. Because, and I'm actually even trying to think of the last place he was awake. Probably somewhere in the office.
Like after the nosebleeds.
Was the nosebleeds, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there was a little bit of like reintegration glitching happening at that time as well.
True.
So he's probably feeling a bit of confusion. So I'm guessing he's about to learn, oh, like your Audi has been reintegrating, your memories are kind of glitching in and out. By the way, if you finish Cold Harbor, Gemma will die. He's probably going to get a lot of information all at once now. And, it kind of makes me want to talk about the symmetry in this episode, because the writers are very clever, right? This is season 2, episode 9. 9 episodes ago was the season 1 finale, season 1, episode 9. That episode was titled The We Are, and this episode is titled The After Hours. It's written by Dan Erickson and directed by Uda Bresovitz. And I think there's a lot of similarity between those two episodes and how they deliver information to the audience, and also how they deliver information to Mark. Now, Mark himself, Mark, just like in season 1, episode 9, he's learning a lot of stuff and he's dealing with a lot of stuff. His paradigm is shifting. His world is essentially getting turned upside down. Like in the season 1 finale, he learned that his hero, Rickon, is actually his brother-in-law, which is just like, I'm trying to imagine what that's actually like. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And now, he knows exactly who/what Cobell is. And he has a relationship at least with Devon. It's very cool that the conversation they had and the fact that they were able to build a rapport in the season 1 finale is actually paying off somehow, because now they can meet again and she can help him / guide him through what's going on, which is kind of symmetrical in a way to the way he was telling her everything that was going on in the office, and they're sharing information in that way. But the symmetry doesn't really end there, because of course this is a situation where the three of them, Mark, Cobell, and Devon, are under one roof with a very wooden walled place. But it's also a thing of James and Helly talking, because in the season 1 finale they also had a chat. And the very last scene of this episode, right, he comes in and he says, "You tricked me, my Helly."
Yeah.
Right? He's talking, I'm guessing, he knows he's talking to Helly. And this is James Egan, right? There's nowhere in this town that he can't walk into. There's just no, like, he can go anywhere he wants. So this is almost frightening that he's here right now. So
very frightening.
Like, literally, he comes in and I remember, like, you look into the background and you're like, who is that behind her? And
I genuinely thought it was Mr. Milch.
Yeah, most viewers probably think it's Milch. And then, if the lens focuses and you see that it's him, and it's like, oh my God. And he's like, "You tricked me, my Helly." And he's clearly talking about season 1, episode 9, when he thought he was talking to Helena, but he was actually talking to Helly. So what's about to happen? What's he about to tell her about that? Bearing in mind as well that this episode both kind of starts and ends with them. In a way, right? And that leads me to another point of symmetry, which is the fact that they do a callback to She's Alive, which happened in season 1, episode 9. So this episode is it's not doing finale things, but it's kind of rounding up a lot of ideas to kind of remind us of where we've come from as it prepares us for the finale of this season, episode 10, coming next week, titled Cold Harbor. So what can we expect from all this? Like, what do we think all this symmetry means? Like, it can't all just be the writers patting themselves on the back. There's definitely a reason that they want James Egan where he is right now. There's definitely a reason that they want Mark, Cobell, and Devon to be in the same place talking right now. And there's probably even a reason why they have Irving going where he's going. Like, are we even going to see him again? Like, what do we think is happening right now with the symmetry and with the structure of the episode? Shay, did you have any thoughts?
Well, first of all, it's a great pick out in regards to the symmetry. I've always maintained across the season that the writers have been doing an excellent job, and this show has shown us time and time again that it has a reputation of delivering without fail. In terms of what the show is doing, I think the presence, we've been told that Cold Harbor, or when the file will be completed, is going to be a monumentous day for human history. Let's not underplay that, for human history. And Drummond and James were really looking forward to this day. So I think just their general presence and wanting that eagerness, you can obviously, well, not empathize because they're crazy, but you can feel that excitement when you want something.
Yeah.
When you want something and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe your dad said he's gonna get you this gift and you're really looking forward to the day, and the day comes and you're utterly disappointed. So obviously we know something big is coming, which is why the writers are doing an excellent job of building it up. And then we know at the same time the characters outside of the office are trying desperately to stop this thing from happening. So I can't really theorize, to be honest. I can't really give any speculations as to what I think is happening at all, because, the show hasn't really given us much clues, and I think it wants to hold its cards close to its chest, very much so.
Yeah.
And I think it would be very difficult to even try and think what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess my next question would then be, do we think any Mark is scared of Cobell?
Yeah. He's always been scared of Cobell. But I feel like now more so it's like after like Milch told him she had this obsession with you. She wanted to be in a, what did he say?
In a
A
throuple.
throuple? Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's more so like confusion.
Yeah.
But I do wonder like if Cobell was still back, like after that whole OTC whatever happened, if Cobell came back, I wonder if like he would be as like confident and disrespectful and just like outright stubborn the way he was with Milchik if it were Cobell. So I feel like Cobell was gone for a long time. The last time he saw Cobell was like at the reading for what's his name's book, Rickon's book. So I don't feel like he's processed all his emotions. Like, okay, why is she here? Why are they telling me she was obsessed with me and she wanted to be in a throuple with me? And like, okay, now that I'm here and I know Gemma is my wife and she knew she was my wife, like, why is she here? I feel like it's mostly like confusion, and that fear is still behind, and that fear is going to come out as like, I don't trust anything she's going to tell me right now. So I'm excited to see like in the next episode if he just like takes everything she's saying as, okay, yeah, she's being honest. She knows all that she's saying. I'm going to listen to her when I get back to work. Or if he's going to take it with a grain of salt and just like because he still needs to speak to Helly. Because that relationship now is more so him as any Mark. He's not going to make any decision that will benefit his outsee just because he wants to save Gemma. Because he's kind of like establishing a life for himself within Lumen Walls. He's going to like hold back and he's going to ask Helly, okay, what do you think? What should I do? If I do this, I'm going to possibly lose you, but I'm going to save this lady that I don't know, that is apparently my wife, that is about to die. It's just like super like complicated. So I feel next episode 10, I don't know, it's going to be heartbreaking, that's for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. There's Helly can only get so far on her own, right? And Mark definitely wouldn't want to abandon her, but his life is very confusing right now. So with that in mind, do we think she's going to make any progress on this whole hallway thing? Like when James shows up, that's what she's doing. She's cramming the directions, which you're holding the paper, you can just go. But I guess she wants to cram the directions, so she's not holding anything. Fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah.
Do we think that's going to go anywhere? Like, are they actually going to find the testing floor hallway?
I don't know.
I don't think so, and I don't even think she can get into the elevator because she needs a key card for that. So
does she? Because whenever Miss Casey walks in there, it just opens.
No.
Doesn't
So
it?
she had to smash that guy's head to get his key card. Remember?
Yeah, to go up, not to go down.
Yeah.
To go down. Well, you can go down, but Helly doesn't need to go down. She needs to go up.
She needs to go down. The testing floor is below them.
Oh.
Oh.
But I feel like
true.
when you see that hallway scene we had with Mark and Miss Casey. Miss
Yeah.
Casey was just walking on her own down towards that elevator.
Yeah.
So then did she have a key to take her down?
I don't recall that.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
she was able to
Yeah,
just
she-
press the button and go down because
yeah, true.
yeah, and she needed the key to kind of go up, and they definitely did that so that Gemma wouldn't
Wait.
just be able to escape.
If the testing
Yeah.
floor is down, that means she needed a key. She didn't need a key to go up.
Well, I think the testing floor is more important
'Cause-
to them than the severed floor at the moment. So
yeah.
the way I see it, you need a key card to get from the testing floor to the severed floor, so that anything that is on the testing floor is only taken out of that floor onto the severed floor or anywhere else by people who are authorized. So essentially, it's easy to get into the testing floor if you know how to get there, but it's not easy to leave because they want to be careful about what information gets out.
Yeah, true. But
I feel maybe
that's kind of how I see it. Anyway,
the play with
Yeah, that makes sense.
Helly, with the map and cramming the directions and everything. I feel it's more so a situation where like Mark comes in and says, okay, this is this, that's that. We have to save her. We have to find this place because Cobell said this. And Helly's, because of love, is possibly going to be like, oh yes, I found this. I can take you there. But then what?
is she even going to still be gingered for that after talking to James Egan?
I don't know what that man is going to say because she... what is he going to do?
He's a scary man though, I can't lie.
Why is he there? Like, my guy. Or maybe he was just so upset. He's like, this thing hasn't been completed. It's not 100%.
So he came by himself and he's like, let me talk to my
what's
daughter.
happening. Then he sees the girl that deceives him. And he's like, okay. So what's going to happen? Can he fight? Can he shout?
I actually have to say, man, this show, they really need to get that. I know we've talked about how they need certain awards, but they need to get awards for casting too.
Oh my Lord, yeah.
The casting is amazing, man. Like this whole James Egan thing, every time I think about him, it's just like the man is doing such a good job. He's doing such a good job giving us everything while also giving us nothing. Like there's so much, everything we know / feel about him comes from the way he moves and the way he talks. That's it. He doesn't even say much. Like even when they're eating the eggs, you see how when she's eating the eggs at the beginning, you see how he just like winces and he whines?
Yeah.
Like, is this a sight of watching someone eat bring him pain? Does he eat? Like, what's going on? Like, genuinely, like, what? I'm so confused. And what is it revolving? Because in episode 9 of season 1, he told who he thought was Helena. He told Helly that they will be together at his revolving. And I feel like that's a whole level of like Egan Lumen cults that we haven't unlocked yet. but we'll definitely get there at some point. Meanwhile, the Wintertide Fellowship, named after James Egan, is still going on. And we see that our good sis, Eustace, she's made it. Milch has passed her early.
While you as a parent name your kid Eustace, man. That's such an old person's name. What the hell?
Man, there are all kinds of names in this world. But you know,
sorry to all Eustaces, please. I don't mean any
Eustaces.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anybody in real life named Eustace, but clearly it's a name that people use. She is being passed and sent along for the Wintertide Fellowship by Milch, maybe because he's tired of seeing her in this office. It gets to a point where he tells her that her bed will be moved. And I'm like, they don't have beds where she's going, but no problem. They're moving her bed, they're moving all her stuff, and they said that a shuttle is going to come and pick her up. And she's standing outside in the cold, and she's clearly not ready to leave. I don't know if we're probably going to see her in episode 10, but I'm just wondering how / why. Like, what plans could they possibly have for this child at the moment? I think also when it came to this idea of, you know, to get into the Wintertide Fellowship, you must sacrifice something. You know, for all the people who felt like episode 8 didn't necessarily give us enough, which, you know, I respectfully disagree with you. We have like a callback even to that, where the fellowship has happened, and she's being given a head, a trophy bust essentially, which is the same thing that Harmony Cobell had from when she did her fellowship. So that's still a tradition that they keep. I wonder if it's still a thing that can be opened up. That's interesting. Or maybe it wasn't something you could open up and Cobell did that on her own. Hard to say. But at the same time, you know, the fact that they have all these rituals and customs that come with it is very, you know, emblematic of how the show and how the world of the show operates. Because she was just like, you know, yeah, do I have to go now? I thought I'd be able to finish out the quarter. And Milch is out here talking about, I have chosen, you know, your ring toss game as a sacrifice. And my first thought was, why is he the one choosing the sacrifice? Is that really sacrifice?
Yeah.
But then it's like, why are you taking that away? But then that goes back to him saying, you know, you must eradicate from your essence childish folly. Grow up.
Yeah.
So he wants her to grow up. So maybe this is the way of doing that. Maybe he feels he's trying to help her, or maybe this isn't just pure retaliation. I mean, what do you guys think?
I feel it's like, I don't know, it seemed like it, you know, like control. Like, because even like the first time you see the ring toss game, she was playing it with it like she wasn't meant to. She was hiding.
Yeah.
So I feel like even hearing him say the ring toss game, I'm like, oh, so you even know about it. And then also saying, okay, yeah, I've chosen this as your sacrifice. And the fact he kept on saying again when she used her head to like destroy the game. I don't think it was him trying to, you know, like punish her into maturity or growth. It was more so, you're leaving, but you need to know as you leave, I have power over you. So this one thing you hold there, like, I'm going to make you destroy it. Because I feel like, honestly, does he really care about her growth? Like, to be honest, because they had like this very toxic relationship. Because for Cobell, I would say like Cobell and Milkshake, like Cobell didn't see value in Milkshake, but like there was some form of like mentorship there. But I haven't seen, I haven't seen that with like Milkshake and Miss Wang, like Eustace. It's more so like this small girl that is following me around, this stubborn girl. Like, I need to show her. She has like this mouth, like I can't seem to control. I feel like it's more like anger, also seeing that like someone can be under you but still be so bold in the things they say, because he wasn't that bold, I think, with Cobell. So that's that disdain he has for this small girl, this sweet small girl that's meant to be plain, you know, but she's here doing this fellowship.
And we know that child labor is an epidemic in this place. So yeah, that you make a good point. And speaking of boldness for people who are superior, I think it's time to talk about maybe my favorite part of the episode. Big Seth versus Big Wur. Wow. That was a scene. Like, Milkshake was already having a hard time this episode. Nobody was respecting him. Like, Dylan is out here throwing key cards on the table. Helly is slamming his door. Marcus is showing up to work. Like, everything is just...
He had a rough day.
Like, Milkshake is having a bad day, yo. Like, all that stuff was happening. Like, by the last time, I think the last time we saw Milkshake, he was talking to Mark on the phone. Bro, at that point, it's like 9 a.m. The day hasn't even started yet. Like, the day hasn't even started yet. He's already had one person quit. He's had another person yell at him. He's done the whole fellowship thing. Then Drummond is doing his own thing as well. It's like, yo, I loved that speech to Drummond, honestly, because he is owed respect. Like, I definitely don't think they were infantilizing Cobell the way they infantilized Milch.
At all.
And we definitely know why. But I will say that him demanding that and saying, I am owed that, like, some modicum of respect because of the position that I occupy, that's one thing. But there's also the fact that I was also thinking, it's like he took the words right out of my mouth. What is he supposed to do?
Yeah.
Genuinely, what is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to go to all of his employees' homes and be like, oh, make sure you come to work? Like, who does that? Doesn't happen anywhere. Yeah. Drummond is part of the people who are creepily following these people all around. So he tells him, like, yo, I'm not concerned with what Mark Scott does outside the office. I'm concerned with what he does in the office. What he does outside the office is your job. Leave me alone. Devour feculence. It was just beautiful. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Oh my
Like,
God. He made him
finally,
feel
he stood
stupid.
up.
He dumbed him down.
What did you say to me? I was like, come on. No, because it was the whole thing of like, oh, that was, I mean, he like, how can you be telling him, you know, apologize for the word? I was just like, okay, that's a bit excessive, right? Like, like, would you even talk to a child that way? Come on. Come on. I don't know why, but like this whole thing actually even made me wonder where Natalie is. I wonder if she had to go through other things. I wonder if she goes through things like this.
She's doing a press conference organization for HARBOUR.
Yeah, they probably sent her somewhere to prepare for the celebration.
Yeah, an event or something.
Yeah. But I feel like that conversation with like Drummond and Milch saying like it's just the several floor I'm managing. I'm not managing their lives essentially. And then Mark finally calling him and saying work is just work, right? The look on Milch's face was like, you know what, like
you know what, bro, you got a point. Like, his face was like, you know what? Like this stuff should not be taking over my life. It's like no, I'm not sick. I just needed a day. Okay, like,
and Milch is like,
you can't say that in real life, Sha. You know, you can't say that.
Me, I can know.
You can't actually. Some people actually do that. It depends on where you work.
You can say that to your manager. I just need.
It's like, I'm taking, because I mean, there are personal days, right? People can take personal days.
You guys' workplaces is very liberal. They're very liberal, man.
Look, it's like life is happening, and I don't want to share with you what's happening in life.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, can I ask? Oh, can we send the car to your location? It's like, bro, it's not your business.
No.
Me, as a black man, I cannot tell my workplace that I just needed a day. I'm so sorry. When I already have to work double extra inside the office.
No. It is 2025, Chinedu. As a black man, you need to pull your white card. Anxiety attack. My uncle, no, like you need to actually start doing this stuff.
That's
not
fair.
Try to deliver deliverance.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Saying an anxiety attack, obviously lying, yeah. Come on, who doesn't lie? But to say I just needed a day, that's brazen. No, that's very, very brazen.
I was actually surprised. I won't lie. Because when he said I'm not sick, I was like, please don't tell me what you guys are trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I was worried about that too, actually. I was worried about that.
Yeah, but he just decided to level with him. And, you know, he said, can I have your word that you'll be back tomorrow? Like, you treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. Like, it was, I think Milch was at a point where it was just like, look, just level with me.
Yeah.
If you level with me, I will level with you. And just like, okay, see you tomorrow. And he's definitely going to be back tomorrow because clearly episode 10 is going to be huge. I mean, I would hope so.
Back. Yeah. They need to come get Gemma.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is the burning question. Like, will they be getting Gemma in this coming episode? And you know what? I know there's a lot of stuff we could say about Gemma and the state of what's happening in there, but just before we do, I have one question. Irving, is he going to be okay? Because, I mean, it's not like he took anything with him. It's just him and Radar. And that dog was worried yet. Like, that dog, if that dog could speak, it would have just been like, bro, we're going to die. Bro, we're going to die. That dog, the whole time, was just looking so depressed.
No,
I've never seen a dog that was so resigned to his fate. Like, the dog was just there like, man, like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's in the house. It's a problem. Said, take a drive with me. Then the dog is inside the car too. He's just like, you need to leave. Here's the ticket. I was like, okay, where's he taking him? But I wonder if there'll be consequences for Bert. I wonder if, you know, Irving is going to turn back. I wonder. We still need to find out who Irving has actually been talking to.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. And Bert's role in all this, like, when he was talking about being a scoundrel in his youth, was he also referring to being a Luman goon?
Yeah.
Like, what is his involvement essentially? Like, do you guys think 100%. We're going to learn anything about that in episode 10?
We'll learn a lot.
We'll learn a lot for sure.
I mean, the critical reviews, I think we're in for a treat.
Yeah.
You know,
But my thing with the whole Brett and Irving thing is like, Irving was like too willing. Like, I know love is love. Like, love transcends Severance.
I'm ready.
I don't know why. I don't know why he got into the car with him.
Into the car, like being okay with him in your house. Like, he seemed like fearful, but I'm just like, the energy I've been getting from Irving since like
episode 6.
Since the start of season 2, when he questioned like Helly, it's like, okay, there's more to you. You're bold, right? So him just seeing Brett and like Brett, this was before dinner. And dinner wasn't even that great. So my guy, like, what happened at dinner that like now you're changing and you're like, oh, I don't actually think now you're a killer. Like, he just like, he was too, like complacent with everything that was happening. And I'm like,
he had a lot of comfort.
Yeah.
Just like,
so I don't know. It cannot just be love. Like, what's like, is he
I think there's a sense
game?
of boldness, there's a sense of fearlessness that comes out, and we see that a lot in all of the I guess the main cast, like the people who we've known as our innies. You know, Mark is talking to Devin about Cobell in such a bold way. It's just like, you know, why are we here? You know, Gemma is inside there. We need to be doing something. You know, Irving is basically trying to say that, you know, Bert should come with him, like they're ready to start something. And it's like, that's also kind of interesting to me because it's not this version of you that was in love, but clearly it seeps through, or maybe you like that idea. I don't know. Helly is trying to make moves. You know, Dylan is offering people a life, like he's going on his knees saying, Gretchen! And like, it's.
Hi, future Ebube here. I actually had a little bit more to say about this particular scene when we were recording this, but I didn't quite get around to it, so I'm going to do so now. Essentially, Zach Cherry's acting is amazing. That's something I've known for quite some time, but I think the audience would do well to appreciate this man a little bit extra, because the emotion in this scene is not just palpable, but it's believable in a way that's actually heartbreaking. And he's able to achieve it while showing us a callback from one of his other roles. I mean, this man is in a lot of TV shows, literally a lot of TV shows, just look him up. But his role as Dylan here kind of interfaces with a, let me say, gag role that he had in Spider-Man Homecoming, the original Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. He is actually the person who shouts, Spider-Man, do a flip! When Peter Parker is doing his normal errands and whatnot, right? But that actually comes through here when he shouts Gretchen's name. And that immediately came out to me when I was first watching this episode. I think it's funny how that kind of emotional affect can play such a role in a scene like this, whereas it's been so comedic previously. Additionally, his role in Succession, where he was opposite Kieran Culkin while they were in this management school thing in season 1, had comedic chops in that same way, though that was a lot more subtle. But yeah, if anybody wondered why him shouting Gretchen was that much similar or familiar, hopefully now you know why.
It's amazing to me because everybody is trying to grasp at something because everybody's desperate right now. And I think that's a good place for us to be as we get into the finale of the episode. And I guess this, before we go, is a good time to open up the 5th appendix. And I need to ask you guys if you have any theories that you've seen or heard or created that might upset me.
Well, I'm hoping it doesn't upset you, but I've been seeing theories being lapped around that Gemma's entire existence has been a severed existence. So the Gemma that met Mark was already severed.
Hey.
And she has been a lumen worker. No, not worker, but she's been a lumen test from time. And
so you're essentially saying that there's no Gemma as Mark knows Gemma. There is no, like, she doesn't exist. The whole thing was a lie.
She obviously she does exist, but yeah, it's his life has been
engineered.
And you listen to the creators of this show, and when they talk about what inspired this show, they talk about the Truman Show.
Yeah.
And in the Truman Show, for those who haven't watched the movie before, it's about this guy whose entire life is manufactured. There's literally cameras everywhere. All the characters in his life, his parents, his family, they're all part of the show and all part of the entertainment. So, and then, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I believe you've watched it before, but he then obviously starts to figure out things are not as they seem. So the show, in terms of finding that connection to the Truman Show, it's been hard to see the connection, if I'm being honest. In terms of someone's life being, engineered and fake. So I think this is the closest thing we've gotten, and there might be some backbone to it. That she's always been severed, and his life has just this Gemma that he's wanting to see is obviously he'll probably get his Gemma that he knows, but she's always been a lumen plant in his life. So
that makes
I hope
too
I
much
haven't rocked
sense.
your worlds.
Wow.
That's no.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought it checked out. I thought it makes sense.
I'm just processing that.
I thought it makes sense. So Mark's entire life has been a myth.
A show.
Yeah,
Or rather, he's been a side character in someone else's show, which is Gemma's.
Yeah, he's been partly testing.
That's kind of crazy.
I guess we'll see that. I guess we'll just have to see. Okay, now that we know, I guess that we know for a fact that the completion of Cold Harbor would be the end of Gemma. And I know I talked a little bit last week about what could be inside that room that Mark is essentially refining for that file.
Yeah.
Do we have any new ideas on what Cold Harbor could be, what it could mean? Putting aside the fact that last week's episode happened on what was essentially a Cold Harbor, and this week's meeting between Cobell, Mark, and Devon happened on what seemed to be another quote-unquote Cold Harbor. I feel like that's kind of a visual call to it, but what could be happening in there? Something about childbirth, something about, war, something about automobile accidents. Like, it could be anything at this point. It could even be something completely out of left field that isn't necessarily an experience. Like Cold Harbor is something that we can't even imagine, but I'm very, very curious about this. Yeah. I don't know if it's possible for them to go through the entire episode and we don't learn what Cold Harbor is.
So I think Cold Harbor, piecing the puzzle together, was Cobell right that said if Cold Harbor is completed, it was her. Cold Harbor is completed, she's dead.
Yeah.
And there have been,
and Drummond actually told the doctor that, once he finishes, you'll have to say goodbye to her. Yeah.
So, and we've spoken about how Severance is a tool to escape pain, and it's a tool to essentially sever yourself from any uncomfortable experience or horrible experience. And, we know the fear of death is a very valid thing in humanity. We don't like to think about it, but it's something that if you sever before you die, you don't get to experience death. So that might be the biggest day for humanity. Because Gemma is essentially going to die to test Severance to the fullest effect, and then
that could
does
be.
She come back?
If she
probably
dies,
wouldn't, unless they find a way to transfer consciousness.
Yeah, with the chip.
Maybe that's a further build to what they want, but yeah, possibly.
Well, hopefully, I guess we'll never find out because she never dies.
I see you're hopeful. No problem.
There's
No.
going
You know
to
what?
be there is going to be a victim in this episode. I'm so sorry because
Yeah, I feel like
Milkshake.
someone has to go.
I
It might
saw
be
a
Cool
tweet.
Bell. I don't know.
I saw a tweet. I think the rating of the show, the violence rating was very high.
Very
for
high.
this
Yeah.
So strap your
Oh my
seatbelts and brace
Okay,
yourselves.
but who do we want to die? Me, I want Milkshake to die.
Why do you want
Whoa.
someone to die?
Whoa.
No.
Whoa.
If I were to choose anyone to die because someone has to die, I would say Milkshake.
Well,
okay,
the aim
so
of the show
this is
wouldn't-
okay. So to be clear, this isn't based on your desire / vindictiveness. This is
No.
based on what you think the story is going
Best
to do.
bets. Yeah.
Best bets.
For-
Why would he die though? What's he done to die? He doesn't leave.
Maybe
the office.
Drummond.
But it wouldn't
'Cause,
hurt
like,
if he dies. If
I
Drummond
love
dies.
It
that
wouldn't
you
hurt the
guys-
audience,
I
but
love
it
that
would
you
show
guys
that,
think
like,
it's
you know,
human
the Eagans are
employees
willing
that are going
to.
to die.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like,
Why do you guys think it would be Lumen employees that would die? Well, Lumen higher up, sorry, management, because obviously, definitely, I think someone connected.
because I cannot stand the idea that one of my family will die. So it has to be management.
Oh my god,
Awesome.
Man,
Yeah.
I think there's
That
a slight
Gemma
chance
thing.
that Helly might be in danger, but it's hard to
Mm.
say. It's hard to say, because Helly is like the most conflicted character at the moment because
Mhm.
Helly's own version of "we are two different people" is really "we are two
We are
different
two-
people."
Yeah.
like we don't even have the same goals. So like Helly is the one person who is in direct opposition with, you know, her with her Audi. So
but
Yeah.
Dylan doesn't think so.
he is
though.
now. Yeah, he is
Doesn't
now. By
think
the
so.
very least, they were aligned in the fact that, like, you know, they wanted to look cool and feel like they were doing something for their families.
Exactly.
Mark is actively trying to help his Audi. And yeah, Helena and Helly have just always had beef. So
I feel like it would just be too heavy for the audience and also for Mark as a character to go through grief twice.
yeah.
Like, that's
Well-
can he have a happy day? Like, no.
He's not gonna have a happily ever after. I'm sorry to break it to you.
Should we bet?
Yeah, let's put some money down, man.
Gemma
We
is
could
not
all-
going to die.
We could all lose, but
We could
anyway,
all lose.
let's see how it goes. I think that's probably a good place to call it. Thank you guys so much for sharing these theories, and I guess for making me need extra therapy. Speaking of therapy, I actually joined the Invincible crew this week for the finale of season 3, which was amazing. Definitely please tune in and watch us / listen to us talk about Negan's conquest, and you will understand that when you get there. We're also still going to be covering Yellow Jackets. That show is creepy but fantastic. And we have a few new things coming down the pipeline as well, aside from the White Lotus, which we're going to be covering this weekend too. So definitely stay tuned for that and keep it locked to the feed. I have been Ebube, and these have been Chinedu and AJ, and we have all been confused. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you soon.
Bye, guys.